Where tradition never dies. This is your radio, Cayman.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the Record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. And welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 29th day of January 2021. Christmas was only yesterday, and we're almost 1 month into the new year already. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. There are some portions of the road this morning where we had some portions that are wet simply because there was some precipitation this morning, so you want to be extremely cautious. Whether you're a pedestrian, if you're a cyclist, if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands, adjust your speed, the distances behind other vehicles to suit the weather conditions under which you're driving as well. And if you do all of those things, follow all of the rules of the road, then the life that you save may simply be your own. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. And back in the control room with us is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. So you can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. You can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Month of January and the month of February. Lots and lots of birthdays. Our good friend, Mr. Rennie Barnes. Some of you may know him officially as Renford Barnes. Some of you may know him as bus driver, Mr. Rennie Barnes, bus owner, Mr. Rennie Barnes. He celebrated his birthday on the 26th of January. So we want to wish him a belated happy birthday. Miss Bessie Thompson, she celebrated her birthday yesterday on the 28th of January. Belated happy birthday to Miss Bessie as well. Miss Zita Mae Borden will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow, 30th of January. So we want to wish her a happy one when it comes along. And also Miss Althea Powery. She will turn a young 98 years of age on the 31st of January. Miss Althea Powell as well. So for all of those birthday folks, either belated happy birthdays, happy birthday today, or happy birthday when it comes on tomorrow or on Sunday as well. Before I introduce my guests, we want to give you the COVID-19 update that was provided on the 28th of January, 2021. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reported that 157 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Wednesday, the 27th of January, 2021. 2 persons out of those 157 were positive. The individuals are asymptomatic travelers who've tested positive following routine screening. They will remain in isolation until considered recovered. The number of persons in isolation either at a government facility or in their homes as required by the medical officer for health is now 910. And they then say that they would also provide an update on the COVID-19 vaccine rollout when that is available. So we don't have that as yet. There was always also another release that was issued, and I think this is important, an explanation. Travel Cayman report system software error rectified. Travel Cayman reported that due to a system software error, a traveler was permitted to quarantine at a residence which did not meet the approved criteria. The traveler's request to quarantine at a private residence was denied, and the traveler was instead approved for a government-sponsored facility. However, due to an error in the system, the traveler was transported to the unapproved quarantine address originally requested. Travel Cayman have investigated the matter, and software engineers are rectifying the issue. Additional verification protocols have been put in place, and manual checks are being carried out in tandem. All residents at the dwelling have been tested, and public health has confirmed that there is no cause for concern or risk of community transmission. The traveler is due to complete their quarantine period. That was yesterday. So they were due to complete it yesterday. So they acknowledged that an error was made, that it was rectified, and that they're satisfied that everyone is safe as well. Like I said, we don't have the figures yet on the vaccine rollout, but we know now that the vaccines are being administered at Owen Roberts International Airport. I spoke to one of my cycling buddies this morning, and he went on Wednesday and had his and said I think they had something like about 14 persons administering the vaccine. So everything ran very smoothly there. And I believe there's also, I saw an article or a press release yesterday about the number of test kits that we have. And we have given some now because we have more than we need, and they will expire in April. Jamaica and Trinidad CARFA, or is it CARFA or CARPA? They have been given tests, kits as well, and that is commendable of the government of the Cayman Islands. I will try to find more about that and share that with you as well. So my pleasure to have in the studio with me again this morning, 2 consecutive Fridays. None other than the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Art McLean. Mr. McLean, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C., and good morning to all of your listening audience and viewing audience too, right? I didn't know Rene's birthday was the 26th. I believe we gave him a love that night. You know.
6 love, yeah.
I have to check on that. But he's probably listening and will correct me later, I'm sure, if we didn't. Because he doesn't play with me anymore. He said, I'll make him get too many loves. So, you know, that's how it goes.
Sometimes that's happened when you have two persons that really high readers in dominoes, you know.
But he and I usually play very well. Very well, I must say. But, yeah, he's not doing too good nowadays. He's like Paulinda's husband, you know. They're not consistent. All right. Anyway, O.C., thanks for inviting me again. I on that Covet rollout, just let me say, I inquired this week about what will happen with the districts, you know, like we had done before. And they said this week coming, they will send out a schedule for those second doses that would, the follow-up second doses within the districts, and they will announce when that will be done. But it appears to me like they're not going to administer. They haven't considered administering any more first dose in the districts. And I just thought that a little strange.
So that would mean that those persons from the districts then would have to go to central?
Have to come into town.
Why is that?
I don't know. It may be that, the staff and whatnot, but I'm still working because the response to me was they would transport them into town, to the airport or to the hospital. So I'm waiting because I need to get that clarified, because there are still people out in the communities that may have made up their mind to take it now, for the first time, and I believe that we should still provide that service.
Yeah. What I say, and not being critical, but what I have found is that I don't believe that we have used made use of the technology that we have for communicating with people, and through obtaining phone numbers and stuff, and you could actually send out messages to them and say, this is where you should go, or even look at the smaller districts, just simply having persons register. The larger districts, Georgetown and West Bay may be a little bit more difficult, but East End, North Side, maybe even Bordentown, to have and a way for people to register online or something like that, so that they have an idea of the numbers that they're going to be dealing with, and then they can then plan accordingly.
Well, you do know at least
for the second dose.
For the second dose, yes. And it was. I would like to think that it was assumed, anticipated that you got in East End, the second dose would be administered there, which they said it will be.
Yeah.
But then certainly, I guess it will require a two-team effort to deal with the first dose if people come out for that. But I believe that once you start providing a service, you don't take it away. Because people get a little excited and anxious, and then reluctant even further not to do it if they have to travel all the way to Georgetown just to get a shot.
Precisely.
So I'm trying to encourage them to extend it if it's available. If they're going through the second round, then you should, there are people who get encouraged and convinced by the person who did the first round to go and get their first two when they're going for their second. You know, they may be even family members. Sure. They notice that nothing has happened to the person and whatnot, so they're encouraged to do it. So I think that is something that needs to be reconsidered.
Okay, we're going to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Arden McLean, will continue after this short commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Harold Banks, 1914-1997.
Mr. Banks began his career at sea at 14 and was a seaman until his retirement. He was also an accomplished shipbuilder. Mr. Banks volunteered for the Vietnam War and fought for the United States. He was a faithful member of the West Bay United Church, which he served as a manager. He was an honest employee and a good neighbor who always had time to visit the sick and bring a little hope and cheer to them. He was married to the former Enid Ebanks. His hobby was building intricate and beautiful miniature ships in bottles.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The pressures of living, managing under adverse financial circumstances, trying to make ends meet by the minute, by the hour, by the day, sorting out matters for today, bills that come due, feeding the family. So much pressure in one place at one time. Step away from it all. Time to recharge, to renew, to refresh. Time to break away. Catch your breath. Make your way to a place of peace, wellness, nature. Reconnect with the Queen Elizabeth Botanical Park in Franksound. The wind, the birds, the orchids, the blue iguanas. Wellness, renewal, mental peppermint. The Botanical Park, supported by Rotary Central Community Service. Rotary opens opportunity.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Happy New Year and happy new SUV to you from Vamt Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vamt Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
Green Turtle,
modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Learn about UCCI's IT Academy training programs, certifications, and the UCCI Cisco NetAcad Scholarship. More than 15 scholarships are available to new IT Academy students. Join UCCI's IT Academy informational session to learn how you can start a career in IT or further your intermediate skills, and all about the scholarship. Tuesday, February 2nd from 6 until 7:30 p.m. at UCCI. Visit www.ucc.edu.ky to learn more, or go directly, apply to the scholarship, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco NetAcad Scholarship. No agriculture show this year? Well, never fear. The Cayman Islands Agricultural Society is pleased to announce the new market at the Pavilion, the last Saturday of each month from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Vendors include local food, crafts, meats, produce, clothing, live music, bouncing castle, gate prices, and a whole lot more. Entry only $2, and children under 13 are free. And a raffle to win a cow and 2 goats, sponsored by Express Livestock, Feeds and Supply, and from Roots Farm. Take it all in of the fun at annual Cayman Islands Agriculture Show, but a wee bit smaller. 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Stacey Watler Pavilion in Lower Valley.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me the Honourable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. Now, Mr. McLean, there are some uncomfortable things that people don't like to talk about. People don't want to talk about. Some people will say, well, you know, why are you airing your dirty linen or your dirty clothes in public? But there are issues, or, you know, why are we fighting against each other? But there are certain issues and there are certain principles. There are certain standards that are set. Certain people are held to higher standards than others, depending on the position that you hold within the community or within, a government. So, as uncomfortable as they may be, we have to talk about them. We have to discuss them. So I see both papers in the Cayman Islands are online papers, the prominent ones, Cayman News Service, and the Compass, carrying an article in there about you and Mr. Miller filing a motion to oust the Speaker of Parliament. We're going to have about 7 minutes to talk about it, and then once the 8 o'clock news is over, we will resume talking about it as well, but I want you to introduce it now and tell us where we're at with it. And despite the fact that the House will probably soon be prorogued, why is it still important for this issue to be aired and amplified?
Well, OC, first, the House will be dissolved.
Yes.
Dissolved.
Yeah.
I think we...
Sometimes you use prorogue and dissolve.
You prorogue every year.
Every year,
but
yeah.
One session is 4 years, so you got to dissolve the legislature to have an election.
Yeah. So the two words really shouldn't be used interchangeably.
Right. They're for different reasons and times. Mm-hmm. OC, I didn't want to reach this point. I really didn't think it was necessary. Usually, it is not necessary anywhere else in the Commonwealth or in the democratic world that we know. Usually, these things are handled internal, and they are disposed of, and people can make their own interpretation of how they are disposed of.
Yeah.
But when it becomes a public spectacle, as this one has become, with the speaker being convicted and whatnot, there has to be a response to that. There has to be a response to that. If this had been done, if something had been done immediately following these allegations, then that's the manner in which these things should be done. You cannot have a member of Parliament, any Parliament, having made mistakes or whatever the case may be, and continue to be in the offices within the Parliament. People elect you because they hold you in high esteem. People, and we are all human beings, and we will make mistakes, so provisions must be made for that. We are no different from anyone out on the street. But what they do is they hold us in higher regard than they hold their fellow citizen. When they go into those polls and vote for that person, there's an element of trust that they place in that person to protect them and to lead them and to show them the ways that they must live. And the reason they elect that person is because they have seen them rise above all moral issues, disrespect, and what. And we as politicians, wherever we are, we must maintain that to the best of our abilities. When we make a mistake, then we have lost that trust that has been reposed in us, and we must take a back step. Even the Constitution makes provisions to remove a member of Parliament. If you don't have a legal obligation, then you have a moral obligation to remove yourself. This matter was aired in February last year. I did everything behind closed doors. I did everything that I could behind closed doors to get this matter resolved between just the Premier and I and the Speaker. In that, I was unsuccessful. And no one needs to ask me to show them proof, because the country knows that I usually, 99% of the time, I'll have documentation. And I tried, and that was rejected. I then moved to the next phase, wherein I suggested to the members of the opposition that we call for a meeting to be held to discuss this matter. That was unsuccessful. I then went and between Mr. Miller and I, the first opportunity that we had was the next meeting of Parliament, which was in May. And we, as our duty requires, submitted a motion because that's our recourse. We can't move anyone from the Legislative Assembly or from any position in the Legislative Assembly without taking it to the other members and the other members agreeing. So in May, and I'm going through this chronological set of events.
And I'm going to have to interrupt you. Okay, she wants us to continue talking for
a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going through this chronological set of events because people need to understand that there are certain protocols that I have to follow, that we all have to follow. Mm-hmm. The Legislative Assembly, your Parliament is filled with protocols and conventions that they are not easily changed. So we follow those. Those are hundreds and hundreds of years old. Sometimes we change them, set new precedents, new protocols, and like whatnot. So Mr. Miller and I submitted this motion, and coincidentally, it was the day that Miss Conley was sworn in as Deputy Speaker.
Okay. All right, folks, we're going to take our break for our 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Arden McLean, will continue, so please stay tuned.
Thank you, Mr. Conner. And studio time now by Foster's is a minute after 8.
New Year healthy options. Live at Foster's.
When you need lunch on the go, head to the Fresh Salad Bar at all Foster's locations. Or if you're looking for a vegan meal, check out our new vegan hot bar at Foster's Camana Bay.
Replace that sugary drink with a locally brewed kombucha full of vitamins B, C, and antioxidants. Or get it on tap at our Camana Bay store.
And to help you whilst you're shopping, look out for the organic and all-natural signs in store.
For more healthy tips, follow us at Foster's K-Man on Facebook and Instagram. Foster's. Better because we care.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Cayman Susan new environment-focused camp.
What we're doing with the camp is introducing young people to mangrove ecology, and it's done through a series of hands-on activities. It's based on the Marvelous Mangroves program that's been in Cayman schools for over 20 years now. Explore the ecosystem, its functions, and its related flora and fauna. And it includes human impacts as well. And so we have a day and a half of lessons, and then we will be taking them to a kayak trip into the central mangroves.
Education Director of the Mangrove Action Project, Martin Keeley, says this is the Mangrove Rangers' first camp. The two-day camp will be held January 30th and 31st in celebration of World Wetlands Day, which falls on February 2nd. For more information, you can call 923-9000 or WhatsApp 526-5072. Admission to the camp is free. The project manager of the Central Caribbean Marine Institute, Robin Larkin, says scholarships are still available for their marine ecology camps.
In February, our scholarships are made possible through the Edmund F. and Virginia B. Ball Foundation, as well as a couple of local donors who want to support students going to Little Cayman and having this experience. There's 6 available for that session of camp. And then the session in April, which is around the Easter break, is through the R3 Cayman Foundation, where they want to support students in having the opportunity to experience this type of hands-on educational program.
The scholarship covers camp fees and flights to Little Cayman and back. The available student age is 3 to 17, and they'll also be introducing a tropical reef ecology and biology focus this year. For more information about the Caribbean Marine Ecology Camp, you can visit reefresearch.org, or you can email info@reefresearch.org as well. The Carifta Games have been postponed until July. Athletes will now have to wait 6 months before competing at the Regional Youth Games due to travel restrictions being lifted in the summer. CIAA's President Lance Barnes.
Because of COVID and the ongoing pandemic and the uncertainty, but the Bermuda officials assured us that plans are in place, and the plans that are in place from last year still exist. So they're looking forward to hosting a meet, and they'll make sure the necessary measures are in place in terms of safety and following the guidelines of their health authorities.
The Carifta Games are scheduled now for July 2nd through the 4th in Bermuda. Also, the CIAA will hold its all-comers track and field meet at the Trinbawn Sports Complex tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Now with the check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Following reports that the military in Myanmar may be preparing a coup, the United Nations and more than a dozen foreign embassies have urged the army to respect democracy. Local media outlets say that armoured vehicles have been spotted in Yangon and several other Burmese cities just 2 days before a newly elected government is set to assume power. The head of the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, says the bloc's contract for supplies of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine contains crystal clear and binding commitments that the firm must honour. Last week, the drug maker said it would reduce deliveries to the EU up to the end of March because of production problems. Experts from the World Health Organization have visited a hospital in the Chinese city Wuhan, where the coronavirus was first recorded more than a year ago. Earlier, the 13 disease specialists held their first face-to-face meetings with Chinese scientists as part of their investigations into the origins of the pandemic. New data shows the extent of the damage suffered by European economies in 2020 as they struggled under pandemic restrictions. Spain's economy contracted by 11%. The French economy shrank by more than 8%, Germany's by 5%. The oil giant Shell has been ordered by an appeals court in the Netherlands to pay compensation in a long-running case brought by 4 Nigerian farmers who alleged the firm had badly polluted their land. The case has spent 13 years in the courts, and 2 of the farmers have since died. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Are you interested in a career in IT? The Spring UCCI Cisco NetAcad is offering more than 15 scholarships to new IT Academy students. The scholarship covers half of the tuition of the cost of the course. UCCI's IT Academy courses include CompTIA A+ certification, cybersecurity, CCNA Cyber Ops, programming essentials in Python, and Internet of Things. To apply for a scholarship, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco-NetAcad-scholarship. The deadline is February 10th, and classes start on February 15th.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking, change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Hey, pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 77%. The barometric pressure 30.02 inches and rising. The wind is east at 27 miles per hour. Overnight low temperature was 76 degrees. Synopsis indicate fresh winds and rough seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a high pressure system builds behind a cold front currently moving through the Cayman area. Radar images show isolated showers over the Cayman area moving southwest. Now the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. And temperatures will be in the upper 70s today and will fall to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 20 to 25 knots. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet. A small craft warning is in effect for today and tonight as well. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 10:23, low tide this afternoon at 4:36, and a high tide again tonight at 4 minutes past 10. The sun will set this evening at 6:15 and will rise tomorrow morning at a minute after 7. And the outlook is calling for fresh winds and rough seas to continue through Sunday morning as the cold front becomes stationary southeast of the Cayman area, and for the associated high-pressure system to build over the southeast United States. That's the very latest on your weather report.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look what's happening on the roads. Busy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway and also coming off the Linford Pearson Highway on the Agnes Way. Slight delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. Traffic moving on moderately on Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way. And the usual traffic flow, steady traffic but flowing on Walker's Road, especially coming from the school area. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. And coming from the Butterfield roundabout heading towards the Industrial Park area, traffic is steady but flowing. And steady traffic heading towards the Butterfield roundabout coming off the Estelle Tibbetts Highway. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again come 10 minutes after 12 for another look at traffic. Have a good morning and click it or ticket.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Find out about all the community happenings from nonprofit, community fundraisers, church events, and more with Radio Cayman's Community Bulletin Board 3 times daily. Don't be the one to miss out on the latest information for events taking place every day on all 3 islands. Radio Cayman's Bulletin Board brought to you by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, just around the corner, with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours.
And Royal Medical and Wellness Center in Baytown Plaza. Your health deserves nothing less than the royal treatment. Email info@royalmedical.ky or call 769-6230. WhatsApp available at 922-2119.
Attention, displaced Caymanian tourism workers. The Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport is reopening registration for the tourism stipend to assist Caymanians who work in the tourism sector and have lost their employment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Registration will take place until Friday, 29 January. To apply, visit stipend.ourcayman.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Arden McLean. Before we went to our 8 o'clock news, Mr. McLean, we were talking about your motion, the motion you and Mr. Miller will be sponsoring in relation to the removal of the Speaker.
Right, and I was on the first motion that we did in May.
Yes.
And I was right at that. It coincidentally, it was days before the Deputy Speaker, Ms. Conley, was installed.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, she then became the presiding officer, subsequently became the presiding officer, subsequent to us submitting this motion because Parliament was opening.
Mm-hmm.
She rejected it, and I received on the 19th of May that from the clerk, and she wrote, Honorable McLean, I reference the private member's motion filed by you on Friday the 15th of May 2020. The motion was forwarded to the presiding officer for approval. The presiding officer responded to advise that the content of the motion deals with a matter that is currently before the Grand Court and would therefore be sub judice as per Standing Order 35-1. The presiding officer has disapproved private member's motion number 3, motion of no confidence in the Speaker. Now, I objected to that because sub judice, as I understand it, OC, the sub judice rule only applies to Grand Court. And they are referencing the Grand Court in this, but it was not in Grand Court. Okay? So I objected to it. Anyway, that was, I don't know who was advising the presiding officers, deputy speaker, and the clerk, but they were wrong. They were wrong. Therefore, my motion should have been carried into that sitting.
And of course, just for the benefit of our audience, the mere fact that their response to you was in certain respects factually incorrect, did you have, was there any recourse for you based on that to challenge that decision?
Well, if she had invited me to prove that she was to respond, if she had invited me to respond to it, and usually what it happens is that the speakers, the presiding officer, will say to you in writing, this is my position. Please, if you are mindful, you may respond to my position, and then we can discuss it. Or they'll send and say you have to change this or change that.
But neither of those.
None of those were.
So you
were
couldn't then take the initiative.
Well, I challenged it verbally.
Okay.
With the clerk and whatnot, but because I believe that it's the presiding officer who, if you're speaking on the floor and you are venturing into uncharted waters that would prejudice a jury, then it's the presiding officer who is responsible to ensure that you don't venture into those uncharted waters. So basically that's the way sub judice should work. We all know we're not supposed to do it. We know that, but be that as it may, that is it. Anyway, after that, there was nothing for me to do. There was nothing for any member to do, because the subject matter was the speaker, and it had already been determined and decided that the Parliament would not hear anything relating to that case with the speaker. The presiding officer, i.e. the deputy speaker, would not again consider that matter until the court proceedings were completed. Okay? So we had no choice at that time. We had no choice. Now, on the 21st day of December, the courts ruled accepted the speaker's guilty plea with a certain set of facts that he pled guilty to, which is in writing. Maybe I think we should make sure that people know what those are in that ruling. That is a public document. I gave the Premier a while to find out what he was going to do. And he did nothing, and I wrote him. And he came back questioning me about whether or not I had the authority to do so, and the support. What we need to understand is that we don't have the support as the opposition. That's why you have a government. The government is responsible because our democracy works based on majority rule. And it's the majority in any parliament are the ones who approve anything that happens in Parliament or disapproves it. It is not for me to remove the Speaker. It is merely for me to move the motion and opposition, to move the motion, and the government needs to support it. So whether the motion is approved or disapproved, it is dependent upon the government of the day. It has nothing to do with us, other than the opposition will keep the government in check, to account. So, to remove the Speaker, you require 2/3 majority, yet you only need a simple majority to put the Speaker there. Now, that is for obvious reasons. You need to remove the Speaker. When you move a motion of no confidence in the Speaker for his or her removal, you need everybody in the Parliament to agree with it, that they're aggrieved by the Speaker's behavior or the actions, whatever the case may be, and then they're removed. So we can only move the motion. It is the government who should have done it. It's not our responsibility. It's the government who should have done this, not us.
When you say done it, you mean...
To remove the speaker.
Right. Not necessarily by a motion of no confidence, but in their own dealings, whether backdoor or otherwise, behind doors or otherwise, to do so. That's what
and if the person does not want to step down, then the government can move a motion.
Mm-hmm.
And the government then would require those of us in the opposition to vote for it as well.
Okay.
Now, a number of us in the opposition to vote for it as well.
Would you go as far as to speculate as to why the government has not gone in that direction?
Well, the Premier has said, and in my letter to him on the 24th of December, he made it clear in a press brief, and I only attribute it to him because it was printed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I have been made aware of recent comments attributed to you suggesting that the Speaker's removal would bring down your government. And evidently that is the reason why. I don't understand how he could arrive at that, because even if the other member that supports, that is a part of the makeup of the government, that supports, that ran with the Speaker, leaves and walks the aisle with the Speaker, then the Premier still has 10 people. And you only need a simple majority to run the Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows that he has no confidence in the people that he has surrounding him.
Or do you believe that he was looking much further than simply the lifetime of this particular Parliament, but looking into the future?
Absolutely.
Beyond the 26th of May?
Absolutely. And but the Premier knows. The Premier knows we all have a moral obligation. And if we are going to forego that, to remain in power, then there is something wrong with the reasons we are there. And he brought, between the Premier and I, we brought 3 or 4 no confidence motions in previous governments, Okay? In addition, he successfully moved the motion to remove the Premier of this country, the first Premier, who is now the Speaker, because this Premier would not step down. But it required other members of that government to assist with it.
Mm-hmm.
He and Mr. Miller, Mr. Miller seconded that motion on the 18th of December 2012. There was no conviction at that time. There was no conviction. They charged him with offenses from his office. And here we are, 8 years later, and the Premier does not believe there's anything wrong with it because this person is on his side now. There is something fundamentally wrong with that. He is void of moral integrity when he does that. And this country needs to hold him accountable. This is wrong. O.C., we all have children. We all have children. In particular, we have women children. Women have played a role in every society. Ours is no different.
Significant role.
Significant role, one of the largest roles in any society. And when, put yourself as a parent and your daughter is beaten up, attacked, unprovoked. She did not provoke it. And let's talk about the facts of this case.
Okay.
At first, I questioned, I was confused as to the reports coming out that this lady had pushed the speaker down and had assaulted the speaker and whatnot. Now, the speaker, and I should pause here to say I'm a little surprised with the report coming out from Captain Eugene as well, because obviously he did not read the facts of the case. A set of facts that the speaker pled guilty to. That is how the magistrate could mete out the discipline necessary because of the facts of the case. Let's just read those briefly because they're short.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go to commercial break. So as soon as we return, and we do have a caller as well, so we'll grab the call, go to commercial break, grab the caller, and then come right back to that item afterwards. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. 122 Industrial Way, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers and stay prepared. 949-2511. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Happy New Year and Happy New SUV to you from Vant Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vant Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you all doing?
Fine, thanks.
OC, I wanted to grab me to say something here for a second. You know, every government got an issue. No government throughout the whole world is perfect. Everybody got some skeleton under the desk. Now, I'm going to start off with this. The Republicans was all against Trump that they when all this thing break out of the building there. Now they're undecidable. They're going to help impeach him. Okay? I say that to say this. I don't break bread with Mr. McKeever Bush, and I don't drink coffee with Mr. McKeever Bush. But I just want to say this morning that he's not the only one that has been in trouble in this island and still hold a high post. Some people get catch, and some don't get catch. But when it comes to our own Caymanians, we will keep them down to the lowest of the lowest. And I just want to say this morning, we got a new election coming in May. From now till May, what different of a step down going to make Mr. Bush from that position? Because I can guarantee you that his people going to put him back in. If he doesn't even get the Speaker of the House or Premier, I got a strong belief that his people will put him back in. So you see, what I'm trying to say is we need to start uplifting people regardless of their fall. We are too much of a small island to have so much hatred.
But should we be ignoring their transgressions? Should we ignore their transgressions just because they're Caymanian?
No. The fact of the matter is I have a zero tolerance for anybody putting their hand on anybody. I probably bringing this across the wrong way, but I hope you all can take nonsense and take sense out of it for me to help me try to explain myself. You understand?
Sure.
I'm not giving him no right for nothing he has done.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, like I said, he's paying the price. I mean, he never killed nobody. How much more price he got to pay? If he's stepped down from being the Speaker, it still ain't got to solve the situation. I mean, he's going to still be out in the public. He's still one of us. And I'm not saying that that if he wants to step down, let it be his choice. Because if the government didn't want him there, they would have removed him a long time ago. So we've beaten our gums up about trying to make him step down. It seems like it's not going to work because May is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even know if they're going to go back into the House to have another setting.
Right, Carla. I don't know if you were listening to the opening remarks that I made, and those were some of the questions that I posed to Mr. McLean. The fact that elections are due in May. Some people will say, well, why are Caymanians trying to pull down other Caymanians? Why are we airing our dirty linen in public? But we also, don't you think that it is also important for us to be able to discuss these things, because it all has to do with governance? And if you listen to what the leader of the opposition had to say, he also pointed out instances where there were motions of no confidence that were brought in circumstances maybe not as severe as these, where a person was actually had pled guilty to something, or where something was already adjudicated in a court of law. So we're putting it out there for it to be discussed, because it has important governance implications and understandings.
Yes, I agree. But Mr. O'Connor, the governor we had here, the lady governor, what's her name again?
Kilpatrick.
Yeah, didn't they ask her to step down that police officer there? Did she do it? I don't know, Max. I don't remember. Did she really step him down?
Well, that was a different, completely different situation altogether. In terms of the that's a UK government decision.
Well, it happened here in Cayman.
Okay.
It's still in our books here in Cayman. You understand?
Okay.
So I'm just saying that my God, May is around the corner. Let's see what May going to bring. We don't even know if they're going back into the House for the rest of this year. And if McKeever Bush is stopping them from going back into the House for this year to continue doing their job, shame. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. You all have a great one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Mr. McLean, I know you don't need any defending, so, you can explain it again, go back over what you said earlier in relation to it. The timing really is not the important thing here, but you can speak for yourself.
Timing has nothing to do with this. If we look at this situation as that caller is suggesting, we are putting ourselves in a situation where anything happens in our governance in this country. And if that's the way we want to run our country, then we have missed the central piece of the jigsaw puzzle. I promise you that. And O.C., let me read the facts of this case, so that people understand on what basis the speaker was convicted. Part of the sentencing rules, let me read part of that. It says, Mr. Alberga accepted that the defendant should be sentenced on the basis of facts as alleged by the Crown, which include the particulars of count 1. The court will therefore sentence on the full facts as set out by the court, although count 1 is left on file. On several occasions during his submissions, Mr. Alberga implied that Miss Guang unlawfully assaulted the defendant, but eventually withdrew that suggestion. Facts. Mm-hmm. Proceeding on the basis of full facts, they are as follows. This is from this court
transcript. Huh?
Yeah, this is the ruling. The defendant is a well-known and long-serving political figure and Speaker of the House of Parliament of the Cayman Islands. He is also the father of the co-owner of Coral Beach Bar and Restaurant. On the evening of the 21st of February 2020, the defendant attended Coral Beach, where he consumed several alcoholic beverages. The defendant briefly left the establishment before returning once more to Coral Beach. It is evident from the CCTV capturing the defendant's return that he is very intoxicated, as he was extremely unsteady on his feet. Using the passageway between the kitchen and the bar, the defendant sought to re-enter the bar. On his way, he stumbled and fell to the ground. There is no one immediately in the vicinity, and the defendant can be seen on the CCTV's footage lying on the ground for some time. At one stage, a male member of staff approached him and appeared to attempt to render assistance, but then left, having been unsuccessful. Some time later, the complainant, Ms. Guang, came to the scene and discovered the defendant lying on the ground. She spent some considerable time at his side trying to get him to his feet so that he may leave. When she was unable to do so, she tried to contact Mr. Parchment, a member of the management team, to apprise him of the situation and seek his assistance in removing the defendant from the premises. At one point, the defendant managed to get to his feet. In an unprovoked attack, the defendant proceeded to pull Miss Guang by the hair and hit her to the head. I am satisfied that this was captured on CCTV at 7:54:36 seconds to 7:54:48 seconds. During that same attack, Ms. Guang's phone became dislodged from her hand and was thrown against the wall. The defendant then staggered on his feet for a short distance before falling to the ground once more. Ms. Guang continued her efforts to assist the defendant to no avail. Eventually, the defendant was able to right himself. The defendant and Ms. Guang got into a verbal altercation, after which the defendant turned and walked in the direction of the kitchen. Ms. Guang and other members of staff followed him. Ms. Guang was still trying to contact Mr. Parchment by phone. the defendant grabbed a bus tub, quote unquote, container, which is a tub used by kitchen staff to carry dishes from a trawler outside the kitchen. The defendant threw the container at Miss Guang in Miss Guang's direction at head height. Miss Guang used her right arm to deflect and prevent the container striking her head. She then shouted at the defendant. The defendant then grabbed a second bus tub and threw it in Miss Guang's direction. This one missed Miss Guang. The defendant then entered the kitchen, followed by Miss Guang, who was still using her phone to try to contact Mr. Parchment. The defendant attempted to grab the phone from Miss Guang, which Miss Guang tried to prevent. A struggle ensued. During this violent struggle, the defendant repeatedly pulled at Miss Guang and her phone, and at one stage, he had his right arm wrapped around Miss Guang's neck. Other members of staff intervened and pulled the defendant off Miss Guang. The defendant was then escorted off the premises. Those are the facts of the case.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you for a commercial break again. When we return, you can continue with the transcripts. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
The Ministry of Education's Scholarship Secretariat invites eligible Caymanians interested in pursuing tertiary studies overseas for the 2021 to 2022 academic year to submit their applications for overseas government scholarships before the upcoming deadline of January 31st, 2021. For more details and to apply online, visit www.education.gov.ky/scholarships.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Arden McLean. Mr. McLean, back over to you for your continuation.
Okay. OC, what that says to us all is that this was an unprovoked attack. Those are the facts that the Speaker pled guilty to, that he caused it. Now, we can't have one standard, like I said to the Premier in my letter. You can't have one standard for politicians and another standard for the ordinary man that we are making the laws for. The making of laws is about controlling behavior, you know. Okay? And we have been elected by the very people we go and make laws for to control their behavior and prevent them from doing this, and they mustn't do this. And you know, it is often said that you can't legislate morality. That's not true. Not in its full context. How do you think the laws come into being? Because you have a moral feeling that should not be done. It's a cultural thing. Morally, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. And that's how it's made. Representation is made to us as politicians from the very people we represent. Mm-hmm. And then we go and turn that into a law to prevent that from ever happening again. Or if it happens, there is a punishment for it.
Okay.
There is a consequence for that. Now, we must be above the very laws we made to... you realize that if that was me in the opposition that this happened to, they would have been calling for my head a long time. But that's because we're political opposite. But don't we have a moral guide and a moral compass when we are when it happens with someone who supports us or who we support? We cannot operate in that environment in a country because you will have problems in your country. Listen, I gain nothing out of this.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you say to those persons who say, what are you to gain from all of this?
I gain nothing. I have, other than carrying out the responsibility that has been placed upon me by the people who elected me in particular, and the people of this country in general. I have a responsibility to do that. When these facts came out, there is no more belief of what happened. These are the facts. I was a little surprised with Cap saying what he said. If he said that, what is being attributed to him.
Okay.
In the Cayman Net News, I think it was on. I was a little surprised because if he had seen these facts and read them, then he would not have made those. If he did, if he made those, I can't say that. Okay. He would have to say that.
Okay. We have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Opposition Leader and Mr. Miller.
Good morning. Mr. Miller isn't here. Just the Leader of the Opposition.
Okay. George E. Banks here.
Morning.
Well, myself and Mr. Bush, he has not done nothing for me, and I don't think I've done nothing for him except in my younger years. I was his campaign manager. In fact, when he first got in, I was the campaign manager for himself and Mr. Benson and Ms. Daphne, I think, in West Bay in my younger years. I call him a friend. I have no other reason to not call him a friend. My opposition on this matter is, as you said earlier, Mr. Opposition Leader, Parliament make laws, but Parliament does not enforce laws. The court enforce the laws. This thing has gone to the courts. The courts have adjudicated it. The courts have passed a sentence. Now, Parliament can, by motion, if it gets enough support, can pass a motion to express its total displeasure in the public behavior of any member of Parliament, including the Speaker, and short of a censure motion. Just a simple motion to say, listen, this is the feeling of this Parliament that we want to express our displeasure. But this thing about, I have one thing about me. I have friends. Some people love me. Some people hate me. But you can never find George E. Banks kicking a fellow Caymanian when he has done wrong or when he's down in the trenches. I am going to show him some respect and support. And when we are belittling Caymanians by constantly, you guys have been on this man's case constantly. If it's not you, it's Mr. Miller. He got to be removed. He's got to be removed. Listen, Mr. Bush has done far more than you ever will for the benefit of this country, Mr. McLean, and that's being honest. Mr. Bush has written many laws, including the one that we had the Heroes Day celebration for a few days ago. Mr. Bush has his faults, but he's a Caymanian. And I called in a few weeks ago about a similar thing. I called him my friend. He has never done nothing for me that I can say, boy, I owe you some brownie points because you've done something for me. Mm-hmm. That's not how I operate. But you will always find me on the side of Caymanians.
But caller, but how do you hold someone in a position as Speaker of the Legislative Assembly? How do you, or Parliament, or if the person was a Premier or even a minister or even a member of the Legislative Assembly, how do you hold them accountable, or do you believe that the mere fact that they're Caymanian trumps everything? Caller, are you still there? Do you believe?
Yeah, it is up to that individual's conscience to freely resign if he or she so wants to. But I'm saying that Parliament and they could get enough support for this idea, pass a simple motion expressing its displeasure in the public behavior of a member of Parliament, including the Speaker.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion if that option is available in under the standing orders. Yeah.
Well, I think you can bring a motion, or it's a privilege to say that this is a motion to express total displeasure in a member of Parliament's behavior.
And if I may,
but to say that, okay, we pass laws. That's what we're here for, is to pass laws. Yes, but you're not the enforcer of laws.
So if, and that option is not available. But let's for the sake of this argument say it is available. A censure motion, what would it do? I mean, how did you feel about? What was your position in December 2012 when the now premier, removed the then premier, the now speaker, by motion?
I don't think that I got involved in it, but I can tell you this, that if I was a member of Parliament and that option was available where the Parliament expresses displeasure in my behavior, it may prick my conscience enough that I could say, you know what, I can't sleep at night not doing the right thing, and I'm going to actually willingly resign. Now that's a separate, a horse of a different color than opposed to a man saying, a woman saying, listen, this thing has pricked my conscience. I did wrong, and I think I have to punish myself by actually resigning. But I don't think it's up to Parliament's duty to, as it were, constantly be bringing a motion of no confidence, which is quite undivisive, Mr. Opposition Leader. It's quite divisive, and it's not serving any purpose of nation building.
Well, okay, so I guess maybe you can answer then. What part of nation building was it when we have removed through motion a premier, we have removed a ministers, we have removed Attorney General, we have removed Commissioner of Police. During my tenure, mine and the Premier's tenure, because we went in on the same day, in that legislature, in that now Parliament, we have removed all of those by virtue of motion, because we had to keep good governance in our country alive and well as examples to the very people who are outside. So how divisive was that at that time, do you believe?
No, Mr. Opposition Leader, if I think Parliament can do as it wishes if they have the votes. In this case, you don't have no votes to be successful in this motion, and all you're doing is knocking on the doors and perhaps the hearts of various members of Parliament, saying is to seeing whether you can garner enough support to have a national majority to carry out what you are talking about.
Okay.
But
Mr. Banks,
as a person who can read political tea leaves, I can tell you that you don't have the votes.
Mr. Banks,
Caller, thank you very much for that. Give you an opportunity to respond as soon as we come out from the 9 o'clock news.
He heard the part
Yeah.
of what.
Folks, top of the hour, 9 o'clock news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 157 COVID-19 tests on Thursday. 2 came back positive, both asymptomatic travelers tested during routine screening. There are currently 910 people in isolation. The European Commission has published a redacted version of its contract with drug maker AstraZeneca for its COVID vaccine amid a row over supplies. The move came hours after Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen increased pressure on the company over its decision to reduce supplies to the EU. The contract signed in August contained, quote, binding orders, she told German radio and called for an explanation. The vaccine is expected to be approved by the EU medicines regulator later. And a new coronavirus vaccine has been shown to be 89.3% effective in large-scale UK trials. The Novavax jab is the first to show in trials that it is effective against the new virus variant found in the UK. The Prime Minister welcomed the good news and said the UK's medicines regulator would now assess the vaccine. The UK has secured 60 million doses of the jab, which will be made in Stockton-on-Tees in northeast England. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm sorry that I couldn't give you a chance to reply to the last point that you were making, but please go ahead and do so now.
I need to briefly say to that caller and other members of the public and the Cayman Islands in general, the Speaker's responsibility. The Speaker has the responsibility to ensure I conduct myself properly whilst sitting in the real estate that I currently occupy that is owned by the people of East End, and likewise with everyone else that was elected to go to represent their constituents. The Speaker must rule on my moral conduct in there. To do that, the Speaker must be impartial and take no sides with anyone, despite the government being the majority and put the Speaker there.
Yeah.
It is respect that a Speaker stays in that position, the respect that the members have for that Speaker. And this is not only in Cayman, this is all democracies. The Speaker is put there because of the respect that the members hold for that person to hold that position.
More so the position and the person.
Yeah, the position. But the person displays that kind of ability, of knowledge and respect that the members can afford to have that person there. Mm-hmm. All of the speakers were the same thing. All speakers anywhere. When that speaker has to rule on me. If I am in that parliament, for instance, making certain accusations on someone on the outside of their moral fortitude or whatever the case may be, the speaker has to rule on that and tell me I'm out of order. That's the job of the speaker, and you cannot challenge that. If you challenge that, the speaker has the right to remove you from parliament. Remember, he removed Mr. Miller. He also removed Albert Sukkot from parliament. Suspended them for 1 day each, I think it was. We have to be very, very, very careful. No, it was Albert, the member from Newlands, not Mr. Miller, I don't think. We have to be very careful that position is about reproach. We have to be very careful. Because then, the speakership now I'm talking about. Because what happens is, then I am going to start challenging the position. Me meaning the members of parliament are going to start challenging his or her ability to be impartial. Do we want that in our parliament? Parliament is about advocacy. You go in there to advocate on behalf of your people. And depends on which side of that aisle you sit, you conduct yourself differently. If you're on the government side, you have to carry out the wishes of the government along with representing your constituency. In the opposition, you have to hold that government accountable. That's why there is a transition from one end to the other, OC.
Now,
when it comes to the speaker rulings, it is anticipated they're going to be different to ensure that the opposition gets its say, but the government must get its way with respect
and one of the
from both sides. And if that speaker moral fortitude is questionable, then the speakership is going to be challenged by members, and you can't have that. You cannot have that.
One point and one question that I want to make. One of the central responsibilities of the speaker also is to protect the interests of the minority in the parliament. What do you say to the caller who just spoke to the fact that this motion of no confidence is divisive? Because it really has to do with the functioning and the operation of the parliament, not outside the parliament. Because, well, I'm going to ask you, are you advocating for this speaker, for Mr. Bush, to be removed altogether from parliament, or is this a no confidence motion in relation to his capacity as speaker?
Oh, see, I have no authority to remove this speaker from Mr. Bush, the elected member from West Bay Central. I have no authority to remove him from parliament unless he has committed an offense, or no one has an authority for that matter, unless he has committed an offense which attracts a sentence of over 1 year.
And that's built into the Constitution.
That's built into the Constitution. So, that's the only way you can do it. You don't have any recall. You don't have anything of that nature. This is about his position as Speaker, him in the position as Speaker. And if we think my responsibility, which I'm carrying out, of ensuring that these things get done, whether it's 4 months away or not. We are 4 months away. We are still members of Parliament for 4 months, okay? We can be recalled. So you're considered, once the House is dissolved, you can be recalled. The Constitution speaks about that. Everything speaks about that. So we are still members of Parliament until after the election and the returns come in. We have a responsibility to ensure that Parliament is governed in a manner that is conducive with good democracy. Now, the previous speaker, the last speaker, spoke of divisiveness. If you think mine and Mr. Miller and the members of the opposition asking for the removal of the speaker is causing division in this country, I just read the facts of the case. That has caused more division in this country than my intervention by carrying out my responsibilities. I want you to understand that. Because people understand, they may not. I have always claimed that we are sympathetic to murder until it hits on our doorstep. But this has brought home to us all a fact that we have a member of Parliament literally attacking and creating and beating a woman. And people respect women in this country. We all do. And the first thing that it conjures up in any parent's mind, what would I do if it was my daughter and someone beat her up in that manner? But you know what? Many of us try to conflate these things with people being Caymanian. Well, let me explain to all of us that same lady, I don't know her, I have never seen her. I don't know who she is. I could pass on the road and bounce into her and I wouldn't know who she is. That lady, that woman, that female, whatever nomenclature you wish to call her, she is also the daughter of a set of parents. And put yourself in their shoes and how would they feel? Do you have daughters? I don't have any daughters. What would I do? I don't know. That is left to be determined. At this age, I don't think I'll have any daughters, O.C. But what about those of you who have daughters and you love your daughter and you do all these things? Put yourself in the parent of Miss Guang, however that is pronounced. What should they do? What would you do if someone did that to your daughter? But I must not defend all those daughters, all those women out there. You feel, or there are people in this community who feel like I should be more forgiven. Well, I have forgiven. But I have a responsibility too. And no woman should be subjected to this. There were too many rumors about it, whether it was this way, it went that way. Now we have someone who has pled guilty to the facts. And I must sit down and allow that person to hold the third highest office in this land, having committed such egregious act. Alden can do that if he wants, but Arden ain't doing that. And when I go to the polls, if the people do not want me, just like how they will decide whether they want the speaker or the premier or whomever, I am fine with that, because I will leave this arena with my head high and look every human being that ever exists in this country during my existence from here on in straight in the eye and have no regret.
Okay, one of our listeners has written in and said the motion is totally unnecessary to demonstrate to the Caymanian public that laws should be applied equally to all, and persons that carry a title of honorable are expected to act and behave accordingly.
See, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But we hope from those mistakes we learn. We hope that the mistakes are not so egregious that it causes division in this country. Okay. And that is what this has done. And we as legislators cannot, but more importantly, should not sit down and allow this to cause division in this country, and we do nothing about it.
Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value. Integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
It is truly important to our country that the voices of all the people in the Cayman Islands are heard on Election Day. Your vote counts. So on May 26th, exercise your democratic right and vote. A public service announcement from your #1 community station, Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Honorable Ard McLean, Leader of the Opposition. 2 callers, but before we go to the phone lines, one of our listeners has also written in and said, so does that caller think it's okay for one of the highest jobs in the land to do wrong and get to keep their job? That is very wrong. Everyone, no matter who they are, should be held accountable for their actions. And I think I have one more. The question is, for the last person on your show, would it be okay if the speaker had beat up one of your family members, female family members? Cayman, only in Cayman can a speaker beat up a woman and still be speaker. Nowhere else in the world would that be allowed. So I think I've read one more have come in, but that one will wait for a while. We'll take the callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Good morning. We're hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, Mr. Moderator, and good morning to the Leader of the Opposition. This is Quincy Brown speaking.
Good morning.
Morning, Quincy.
Happy New Year to both of you gentlemen.
Thank you very much, and the same to you. Nice to hear your voice.
It's good to be heard, and it's good to be tuned into Radio Cayman for the record this morning. Using diplomacy, what I say now, I will say through you, Mr. Moderator, to uphold all diplomacy and protocol. It is very important, Mr. Moderator, to realize that he that is without sin should cast the first stone. It is very important for us to realize that as Caymanians, now is not the time to divide. I also would like to say that we are not far away from a general election. The House will soon be dissolved, and nomination day is on March 31st, 2021. I am calling this morning as a private citizen. I am not being paid to call. I do so of my own choosing, using my own conscience. I think it is very important that when we judge someone or bring someone into question, we should weigh both the good and the bad. We all make errors. It was Shakespeare who said, "It is human to err, divine to forgive." Through you, Mr. Moderator, I will be canvassing and campaigning in all districts. I can only vote where I live. I live in Prospect. I am registered to vote in Prospect. That's where I will vote. That's where I live. However, when Quincy Brown stands on any person's platform or stage, that will be a sign that I am backing them. All right. Having said that, I should also like to say that I would like to see changes in the beautiful, beautiful district of East End. If you would allow me, Mr. Moderator, before I close, to give a quote from the Honorable Speaker of the House of Parliament, as given to me on January 17th, 2021, at 5:34 p.m., and I quote, "Happy New Year. People who do most talk and want me out, like Ezard and Arden, they have no high moral ground to do so. But God is not dead. He says, 'Vengeance is mine.' So I will leave it to him. But I have not told my side. People don't know that the videos don't show me kicking her, slapping her, pulling her hair, nor pushing her. I in no way beat up on her, as I am no woman beater. The opposite is true. She beat me when I was discombobulated on the ground, and she hit me in the head with her phone when I was back on to her. And when I turned around, I grabbed her blouse and was trying to get the phone with my other hand, as she had the phone in her hand, in the air, so I thought she was going to hit me again, and I pleaded guilty because I was intoxicated and I did grab her blouse. That's what I pled guilty to. I did not strike her in no way. I did not assault her. The video does not show me throwing anything. You see the plastic basin, yes. When she was coming after me when I was leaving, and she was aggressively following me, but not me throwing anything. Some of the staff was not getting their gratuities, and I went there to talk to staff members about it. She came back and found me there when I went back around 9-ish to get food I had ordered to take home. She had been out partying and drinking too, and was arguing with me about me coming to talk to the staff. She didn't want me knowing about the loss of gratuities. She also had been to court for drinking and driving. End of quote. A message from the Honorable Speaker of the House of Parliament.
Okay, thank you very much, Quincy, for that.
Let me respond quickly.
Okay, sure.
He was reading off a message
that was sent to him by the speaker.
By the speaker. May I hope you're listening, Quincy. may I invite you to get the
transcript.
The transcript of the ruling, which was done on the 21st of December, 2020. What you're reading there is completely different from the facts that the speaker pled guilty to. Completely different. Completely opposite, 180 degrees opposite from the facts that the court found watching the CCTV and the judge, the magistrate, ruled thereon and reported in the facts of this case. So I would advise you to get those and compare that with what you have received from the speaker.
Okay, let's grab the next call.
And the other thing is, everyone has a right to come to every district and campaign. Mm-hmm. And if you want change in the East End, that means it would be me you would be campaigning against. That's your right. That's your inalienable right to do that. Please feel free to do it. But remember now, I have the right to respond too.
Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Happy New Year to you.
Same to you. I would like to, I was listening to that exchange just now, and it seems like what the previous caller is saying is that the speaker didn't plead guilty to everything. Mr. McLean, did the document that you have, does that show the speaker pleading guilty to all of the charges or only some of the charges?
One was left on file.
And
But
which was which one?
Let me count one. Let me explain what it says. Mr. Alberga accepted that the defendant should be sentenced on the basis of facts as alleged by the Crown, which include the particulars of count one. The court will therefore sentence on the full facts as set out by the Crown, although count one is left on file.
And count one was what?
I don't know what it is.
Okay, caller, I'm sure that you have more to say, so go ahead and speak while he see if he can determine exactly
common
what
assault.
Count was. Common assault. Okay.
Okay. So the most serious charge he didn't plead guilty to.
Yeah, but you understand that he also had to pay for medical expense. And he's lucky that he didn't get charged for his GBH.
Well, I mean, I
$1,979 for medical expenses. I don't know where that came from.
Well, okay. I just wanted to be clear on that, because I can see that in the political campaign where this is going to go is that what you think it is not really what it is.
Absolutely.
But the situation is that the public is very, very concerned about this, and many people are not going to express themselves publicly on it. When I interact with people on it, people are very, very upset about it, but yet they're unwilling to say call the radio or write the.
Well, you know we don't do it. Then you know we don't. We as a people are talking about now.
Right.
Are not very does not participate in that kind of dialogue. You know that, and that is not anything personal against them. It's a cultural thing that we have as a people. Very few of us, me and you, maybe, will stand up and say what we gotta say, and people, and I don't think it's unique to us as a people. There are other countries in the world where that is very prevalent, but they will express themselves in the shadows and in the behind those closed curtains too on election day.
Go ahead, Colin.
Right, but what that means is that when you have people who are participants in democracy, not really fully appreciating that democracy is not a spectator sport.
Absolutely.
You have, undesirable outcomes. Now, are we saying as a country that it's okay for the speaker to retain his position while other people lose their jobs if they're in a similar situation? Because
you're asking me that question?
No.
I think it's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, we can't be advocating such a duplicitous position, because that can't be right. I mean, I could imagine the FATF and all sorts of other bodies who dislike Caymans saying, well, no wonder they don't want to allow us to have access to information. Their speaker's a criminal. And can you imagine if they decide to go down a route of attacking Cayman on that front, what the reputational damage to the Cayman Islands will be?
Caller, I want to thank you very much for that, sir. We have to go to a commercial break, and I think we still have how many? One more caller on hold? Two callers on hold as well, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Are you interested in a career in IT? The Spring UCCI Cisco NetAcad is offering more than 15 scholarships to new IT Academy students. The scholarship covers half of the tuition of the cost of the course. UCCI's IT Academy courses include CompTIA A+ certification, cybersecurity, CCNA Cyber Ops, programming essentials in Python, and Internet of Things. To apply for a scholarship, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco-NetAcad-scholarship. The deadline is February 10th, and classes start on February 15th.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, the Honorable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. We have 3 callers, so we're going to ask everyone to please be as brief as possible, and I think we're going to make those the last 3 calls for the morning as well. So, first caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Mr. Connor. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, sir. Good morning to Mr. McLean also.
Morning.
Just maybe 1 minute.
Sure.
I think I could call the names because they disclosed their names, Mr. Ebanks and Mr. Quincy Brown.
Yep.
I really hope that they called the toll-free line and they didn't pay to talk all of that nonsense. So that's the first thing. And number two, I think it's frightening to imagine that might be how the majority of the people who will be voting in May, their mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I'll close off on this. One sentence from an article by Thomas Sowell. The title of the article is "Are Facts Obsolete?" And he mentions that people who have made up their minds and don't want to be confused by the facts are a danger to the whole society. I'll leave you on that. Good day.
Thank you very much, caller.
That is very good.
Very poignant.
And I should say to you, son, I'll call you son, your voice sounds kind of young. I don't even know who you are. I have more confidence in the people of this country than all of them being fooled. Trust me, people in this country, we like to take them for granted, but they can think for themselves. And Caymanians have always done that. They have always known exactly what they want. And I have lots of confidence in Caymanians.
Okay. Next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm sorry, I usually hear a beep, so
That's okay.
I didn't know I was on.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. I'm just calling to say that I cannot believe that some people would actually support sweeping this whole matter under a rug. I mean, that is an outrage. Okay, anybody else, if I had done the same thing, I'd be in Northwood at this time. I know that. And for anyone to suggest, because of past good deeds, you could murder somebody and walk the street for free in the extreme case. That is not the case. Either we have laws to which everyone is subjective, or we are running a Mickey Mouse organization. And I believe for the international standing of the Cayman Islands, it is important that justice is not only is done, but also appears to be done and is publicly done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Yes, thank you for taking my call again. In the words of Georgette Ebanks, I rarely call twice, but I'm calling again. Good morning.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to make this one brief as possible.
And listen to me. I was not paid. I was not asked. I was not.
And no one is accusing you of that. No.
Good. As a matter of fact, the speaker asked me not to make it public.
Mm-hmm.
He said when he was ready, he would, because he had his concerns. So I took the decision to come to his defense by letting your listeners know his side. That's
Quincy, if I may, old boy, you know I call you old boy all the time. No disrespect. I would invite you to get the facts as they are from the court, because I was reading from that document, and it's complete opposite from what you were reading. Now I don't know how those two set of facts can be entered into this equation, but they need to be, so that people can make up their own mind, including yourself.
Right. So, Mr. McLean, thank you for that. And I'm not going to be long-winded because this is my second time calling in, and I'll just suffice it to say that there are people in this country that they have an agenda. I'm not here to condone certain actions, you know. Right is right and wrong is wrong. But there are people who would want to remove his national hero-like status, which I'm not saying he's a national hero, but this man has accomplished so much that his good, the good outweigh the bad. That's all I'm saying. And let me tell you something. He, like Elvis McKeever from Cayman Brac, could in fact run for office. Because under the law, if you're involved with espionage, if you're involved with thief, these sort of things dishonesty bar you from seeking political office. So trying to to bring a motion at this time, I think it's counterproductive. And how and why are all the female MPs so silent?
But caller, if I can interrupt for a second, just to explain, and I pulled this out earlier from Mr. McLean. This motion is not about the Speaker's ability to run for political office. It has to do with his position as Speaker of Parliament.
Understood. And I thank you for making that clear. We are running in, and I'll close now because you've given me ample time. We are going into a general election, and there are ulterior motives. Now, if the gentleman did not want to resign, instead he took the decision to get his 6-month treatment, he realizes that there is an issue with alcoholism. I realize I have issues with alcoholism too, and if any other parliamentarian listening and would be honest, they would admit that they got a problem with drinking too, not to excuse the fact what is wrong, what is right is right. Let me tell you all something. When a man has charisma, when a man has vision, as my poem says, please play my poem, Mac will be back. I go on talk on a record.
Thank you very much, caller. One more caller, Ms. Susan. One more caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to your honorable guest.
Good morning. Been a while. I haven't heard your voice in these beautiful Cayman Islands.
You see, when we have government like this one, I think people like me, they try to silence them.
Okay.
But we hope, I think, first I wish you the best in the upcoming election.
Thank you.
And I always have a great respect to yourself because you are straightforward man. Your opinion sharp like a sword. And I think you are a great person to be a leader one day, soon, hopefully. And we hope the change in this country happen this election, because I think the worst thing happened to this country is that the PPM party in leading this country, they take the bad decisions such as allowing gay marriage. And this is the worst thing ever this party done to this country. And I want to ask especially a question to those elderly, godly people in this country. How you give your vote to somebody who voted to somebody against the Holy Bible, which the Holy Bible speak against gay marriage, against something under God, the throne of God shake when those sitting in the House of Parliament in this country voted yes, such Austin, David White, Barbara Connolly, those people who full the country speak about the good things they're going to do. But all what I want to say here, that I wish the good people like Mr. McLean in the House to return and change this country to the best. And we hope the bad ones, like PPM members, they don't return anymore.
Thank you very much, caller. Mr. McLean, you want to respond to all those callers?
Yeah. I think it is incumbent upon me to clear the air here. Understand, I have absolutely nothing against Mr. Bush. As a matter of fact, I have an affinity towards Mr. Bush. Last year, 2019, I campaigned in Trinidad for Mr. Bush to go on the executive of the CPA Regional Committee. I campaigned in Africa with Mr. Bush for Tara to become on the CPA executive for women under the CPA in England. the main office. I campaign on other matters in Africa amongst delegates for Mr. Bush, and he was successful. I know a lot of people across the Commonwealth as well. The Speaker of Malta, all those guys I campaign with, and they respect us all. I don't know what's going to happen here now. What will our international position be? What will our colleagues' position be across the Commonwealth as regards to the Speaker being convicted of abuse of women? One of the things that we have fought for 20 years, my tenure in the Legislative Assembly. I can tell you this. Let me pause there and tell you this, I got elected in November the 8th, 2000, was sworn in on the 15th day of November, 2000. And by the Speaker, the now Speaker was the executive of the regional at that time.
Regional CPA?
Regional CPA. Okay. In May of 2001, he called me and he said, you have to go to St. Kitts to represent the Cayman Islands. I said, but I don't know anything about the CPA. He said, you have become a life member. Now you need to go because I can't go because he was busy with tourism or something. I went down there with kids from this country to that CPA conference. You know who they were? Marcita, that is...
Marcita Borden.
Borden, and her mother was there, and Ora Marin Jr., his father was there. That's the time I made a swear, and I commit to those two young people that one day I'm going to be on their platform to support them going into politics. Those same two young people that are today very prominent in this country. Mm-hmm. So I have nothing against this man. We all make our mistakes, but there is a price to pay for those mistakes. And you cannot have to, you expect me to wear my heart on the sleeve when your position you put in jeopardy. It wasn't me. Tomorrow morning, if something of this nature was to happen to me, the first person would be jumping on the bandwagon would be the premier that I need to be removed from my position, leader opposition. A simple thing like he heard, because of the letter I wrote him on the 24th of December, he heard on the street that the members of the opposition didn't support or not supporting me anymore. He heard it on the street. And he questioned whether I had the authority to write him. Okay. That's how dangerous this position is.
Got you. We're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Happy New Year and Happy New SUV to you from Vance Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you'll love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vance Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
The Ministry of Education's Scholarship Secretariat invites eligible Caymanians interested in pursuing tertiary studies overseas for the 2021 to 2022 academic year to submit their applications for overseas government scholarships before the upcoming deadline of January 31st, 2021. For more details and to apply online, visit www.education.gov.ky/scholarships.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. In the studio with me, Honorable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. One last message that I need to read, and this one says, good morning. My question is, have the actions of the Speaker in his private life outside of Parliament in any way, or does it in any way negatively impact his ability or his position as Speaker of Parliament or the proceedings of Parliament? I think you explained it before, but I'll give you an opportunity to answer it again.
We are not business with that. We are, and we should not concern ourselves with the private life of an individual. If that is so egregious and it is against the law, then the law deals with that. I think it was George who said it's not our responsibility to enforce the law. Precisely, we make the law. It's not our responsibility to enforce it. That lies with the police department in this country. But we can't use that as a measuring stick for any member of Parliament. But the rules are very specific. It says how you can, how do you qualify for membership of the Legislative Assembly, and that's a very long list. And if anyone goes through that, then they qualify, and it is up to the constituents to send people to the Parliament. In any democracy, in our democracy, we have first past the post. That is the one with the most votes, the first past the post, which is a logical explanation, but just for the avoidance of doubt. There are other areas, other democracies like America. We witnessed the senators. They didn't have 51% of the vote to be a senator, and so what you do is you do a runoff with the two that has the most, and one will get 50% plus one of the vote. That means the majority of that community has approved them. Here is first past the post. So whomever the people send to Parliament, the other members have to work with as representatives of those people. You have no authority to remove them unless the provisions in the Legislative Assembly comes into play.
And when it comes to Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, then it's either they can select a person from within or the Assembly or someone from outside. When it comes to a ministerial position, that is the recommendation of the Premier or the leader of whatever party that has the majority, and that person becomes Premier based on their recommendation.
And ours is conducted a little different from how it's done in the House of Commons. That is UK. What happens there is when the Speaker is leaving, they usually know that in advance. The Speaker says, I'm retiring. Because once you become Speaker in the House of Commons, I can't recall, I don't know of anyone that went back on the floor. You're at that position, you go home from that position, okay? So they know in advance that the Speaker is leaving. So a number of people put their names up. You could get 20, 30 people putting their names up. And the whips then, and the parties start whittling that down. And they whittle that down and say, listen, it's not your time, blah, 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 whatnot. You got to remember, you got 635 members in there, so you can appreciate people expressing an interest in being the speaker because of the longevity and their experience and whatnot, OC. So you whittle it down and whittle it down, and when you get down to 2, then you, behind closed doors, you make deals and say, all right, we're going to take OC this time, next time it'll be you, or whatever the case may be. And only one person's name is put up there. That means everybody has agreed with that person because of the person's, they look at their ability, their experience, and their impartiality, and that person is put there with the consent of everybody.
It's usually partisan, though. In the UK, it is usually partisan. Very seldom do you find
someone
a
in the
speaker being
opposition.
chosen from the opposition. Very seldom.
Very seldom.
Yeah. We have one voice note that we I think someone wanted to was responding to something that was said. Ms. Susan, can you play that voice note, please?
Good morning, Mr. Moderator of where you came and talk morning show. My reply to someone who had made a comment about if it was okay if somebody had beat up a female member of my family. No, it would not be okay. But that's a civil matter. That's a matter that would then go to court, and I would expect the court to mete out justice. In this case, the matter has gone to court. I myself would be very upset if the matter was just brushed under the carpet, but this matter has gone to court, has been adjudicated by the rightful place, which is the court of law. A sentence has been passed, and now I don't see how Parliament can now meddle itself in that decision by trying to extract further judgment and try to enforce some sort of moral standards that may or may not be present in the movers, but certainly it is their convenience to do so, but the votes are not there. So therefore, all they're doing is really causing division within the community because it will never come to pass, and the voters will decide in May, the 26th or whatever the date is in May, and Mr. Bush will be judged by the public court of opinion, which is the ballot box.
I think that caller still still hasn't grasped what we're saying in terms of that it has to do nothing to do with the person Mr. Bush being elected. It has to do with his position as Speaker in the Parliament.
What he's saying, but when you find that person has been that would have beaten up his daughter or his family member, society then takes care of him, because he don't get a job, he don't do this, he don't do that.
Or he may lose, the person may lose the job.
He may lose job, all kinds of stuff. And there are other consequences other than the
collateral
court.
Consequences, yeah.
I am a little, but people justify their own ends, and so do I. And he says whether or not I have the moral, me or the movers have the moral fortitude or position to do so. We all justify our own moral positions, my friend. Okay. That's what life is about. I look at the other speakers that were there. I came in there under Captain Mabry. I wasn't there under Miss Sybil. Came in under Captain Mabry. I had Linford. I had Julia. I had Miss Mira. Now, I want this country to think of all four of those that I just named. You hear what I tell you? I didn't put either one of them there, OC. Not one. They brought those four speakers that I just lest I forget Edna Edna.
Yeah, late Edna Moyle.
Yeah. Those 5 speakers brought that speakership to a new level. You hear what I tell you? You didn't hear anything about that. I know some of them, even when I was in my heyday, young, energetic. They used to call me, Alden and I, the Young Turks. Linford has called me in his office and chastised me. What was he doing? He was teaching me, okay? Julie called me in her office and chastised me. Captain Mabry called me in his office and chastised me. Captain Mabry used to look over his glasses at Alden and I. That's what that speakership brings. Miss Mary engaged me on the floor, but yet she called me in the office, though, and chastised me. And then you get aided, and I'm calling them by first names because they're supposed to be honorable. But because of that relationship, I can afford to do that you develop in there. Edna, she pick up the phone and call me. You come in my office, boy. Really? You cannot do this. You cannot do that. Linford, let me tell you something. Don't you embarrass your father in here today. Mr. Glidden, his son on the opposite side from me, OC, when we got there first. CG. Mr. Glidden was sergeant. He caught me in the passageway one day. He said, listen to me. You don't embarrass your father in here today, you know, nor any other day. And that was enough for me. That's what Parliament is about. We are all one. We're people. We're Caymanians. Okay. And we will forever live with each other. Linford, I'll see him rest my life and rest his. Linford 80 now. Must be somewhere in that region because we're all cousins.
Don't give out people's age.
We're all cousins. We know. We just had 1 hour's pass, and I want to extend my condolences to the family of Dorna Green, who's my first cousin. Mm-hmm. She passed a few days ago.
Okay.
And you know, she and I and Linford are very close when it comes to that family thing. But I ain't being disrespectful. That's what this is about. Mm-hmm. We have respect for each other. But when we step over that line, there are others who must bring us back in check. Okay. And we should have done that. The Premier should have done that from February last year.
Okay, thank you very much for being here, folks. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension for the record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.